Apologies for this, it's as tidy as I'm ever going to get it. Hello and welcome to a sound advice video overview of the LINN Klimax Solo 500 power amplifier. My name is Ed Seddy, I'm one of the independent reviewers for Sound Advice. This silver box is no less than £23,500, which is quite a lot. But crucially, it's less than the Solo 800 that we've already looked at on the site, and it takes as much technology as possible from the flagship Solo 800 and puts it in a smaller and slightly cheaper box. It might not look that large, but there is quite a lot going on in here. First and foremost, there's a lot of grunt. You get 250 watts into 8 ohms and 500 watts into 4 ohms. That's enough to drive pretty much anything to any level that you fancy. Taken from the Solo 800 is the adaptive bias control, which constantly monitors the amplifier's output, keeps it functioning in the sweet spot that Linn intends it to run at. This is combined with the Utopik high-speed power supply arrangement, which has been around for a couple of years now. The intention is to deliver the current required at the instant it is required, not ever so slightly later, using hulking great transformers, which is one of the reasons why this power amplifier can sit on my lap rather than me sort of sat with it and so on and so forth. There's also some really clever cooling at work in here. Everything inside the amplifier is essentially upside down. It's then placed on an extremely conductive block which soaks away as much heat as is humanly possible. For most of the time that you're using this amplifier, it is as quiet as a church mouse. If you really treat it with a complete and utter absence of mechanical sympathy, a fan will start. Now, it's very hard to hear this fan, and the reason for that is it doesn't just have on and off. The fan is in fact computer controlled, and it channels air through these vents you see at the top. It only works when it needs to, and when it does need to, it works at the speed it can get away with. It doesn't just turn on and sound like a hairdryer. It's tremendously clever. It's also tremendously well built. Not a lot of what I can do with this video or any of the photos will truly convey just how exquisite an object this is. Around the back, I can turn it round. One channel only, so as I say, you'll need 2 of them if you want a stereo amplifier. You get a choice of balanced and unbalanced inputs, and then just as importantly, there's looped outputs as well. This means that you can loop through and have more £23,500 power amplifiers if the fancy takes you. Really nice set of speaker terminals. These will accept pretty much any cable with any termination configuration that you can routinely think of. If there was a one-word summary, it would be grip. The manner in which it's controlled, the Kudos loudspeakers here under test, has been simply astonishing. I don't necessarily think I've had anything else on test which has exerted quite the same level of composure and control. With that, it's extremely agile. What do I mean by this? Everything starts and stops at the instant it's supposed to start and stop. Even when it's got big bass lines traveling at high speed, there's just a level of precision and agility that has you going, yeah, that's quite something. It's not an effects box. What do I mean by that? If you're looking at this as a means of changing how your system sounds, this ain't it. What it does superlatively well is it maintains any character that you've put in your system, or at least the balance of your system as you presumably have it and like it, and simply gives you more of it. There are 1 or 2 things I would say. It does run extremely warm. Now, in the videos, they're stacked on top of each other. I'm not suggesting for a second you do that, and that's not how they've been run here. It's just made filming them a bit easier. Fan or no fan, cooling or no cooling, there's a fair amount of heat generated from these things, so you know, a little bit of care and attention will be required in placement, but then equally they are far easier to place than most equivalently powerful and priced power amplifiers, so they do have that going for them. The other thing is much more positive, and it's much more interesting. These have been tested in a system which has no other Linn components in it. Now that doesn't sound particularly exciting. That's how most things that pass through for review. There wasn't that long ago that wasn't something that would have necessarily happened. If we'd reviewed this product, we'd have been invited to do it in a more controlled, Linn-friendly environment. Linn is very confident about these, and with good reason. These have slotted into a system with no other Linn components in it, and they have excelled. Obviously, if you're a Linn customer, this is going to be catnip for you. It's going to be entirely what you'd sort of be looking for. But if you're not a Linn customer, I think it's still got a huge amount of appeal to it. It genuinely does some brilliant things, and it does it in a small and exquisitely made box. For these reasons, I've awarded it an exceptional badge. This is an outstanding amplifier put in a small space and assembled in a way that is genuinely out of this world. If you've enjoyed this short but sweet trip through Linn power amplification, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There will be various other videos in due course. My name has been Ed Selly. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.